Sisters, sometimes you look at your life and feel as though nothing is moving, nothing is changing, and the weight on your shoulders keeps getting heavier. But remember, the Almighty never allows a struggle to come your way unless He has already written a way out for you. Your good days are not gone. They are coming, and perhaps they are closer than you think. There are moments in life when Allah quietly changes your destiny long before you see the results with your eyes. The heart feels it first, the soul senses it, and the world around you slowly begins to rearrange itself. Let me share with you 7 signs that Allah may be shifting your path towards something better. The first sign, hardship becomes a means of awakening. When things suddenly become tougher, it is not always a punishment. Sometimes it is the Almighty shaking you gently. Come back to me. I have prepared something greater for you. Hardship that pushes you toward Allah is a blessing in disguise. The second sign, your heart starts turning away from what displeases Him. You may have struggled for years with habits or sins, and suddenly you feel a new strength, a strength to walk away. That is not you. That is Allah cleansing your path so He can replace darkness with light. The third sign, a strange sense of calmness enters your life. Even if the storm has not ended, you feel a quiet reassurance inside. That sakina, that tranquility is a gift from Allah. It is His way of telling you, I am with you, trust me. The fourth sign, doors you never knocked on begin to open. Opportunities appear from places you never imagined. You might meet someone who helps you, find a solution you were not seeking, or be guided to a path you didn't know existed. This is how Allah provides for His servants. The fifth sign, you feel the courage to walk away from harmful people or situations. Sometimes Allah removes certain individuals from your life not because you don't need them, but because they are blocking the goodness He has written for you. Trust His decisions. The sixth sign, your dua becomes deeper, more sincere, more consistent. When Allah wants to elevate your destiny, He invites you to speak to Him. You suddenly find yourself raising your hands more often, sometimes with tears, sometimes with silence. But every dua is rewriting your future. And the seventh sign, you start believing again. Faith returns, hope rises. You begin to feel that maybe, just maybe, Allah has something beautiful planned for you. This realization itself is a sign that the Almighty is opening a new chapter in your life. My brothers and sisters, if you see these signs in your life, do not ignore them. Your good days are coming. Allah has heard your cries, seen your struggles, and He will never leave you empty-handed. Walk forward with trust, with patience, and with gratitude. The one who has written your destiny never makes mistakes. Hardship is often misunderstood as a sign of rejection, punishment, or abandonment, but in reality, it can be one of the clearest indications that Allah is preparing you for something greater. When life becomes heavy, when challenges multiply, or when things that once felt easy suddenly become difficult, it is not always a sign that your destiny is darkening. More often, it is a divine process, an invisible transformation happening behind the scenes. Hardship can be the very doorway through which Allah ushers you into a new phase of your life, a better version of yourself, and a destiny that you never imagined. Think about the people who have grown the most in faith, character, and resilience. Many of them will tell you that their transformation began in moments of deep struggle. When everything is smooth and comfortable, people rarely change. Comfort breeds stagnation, but hardship breeds growth. It shakes you, purifies you, brings your heart closer to your Creator, and forces you to focus on what truly matters. Sometimes Allah places you in difficulty because He knows that if He left you where you were, you would never reach the potential He has written for you. Hardship is not random. Nothing you face is without purpose. The Almighty says that He does not burden a soul beyond what it can bear. This means that every hardship is tailored for you, measured for you, and designed to bring out a strength you may not even know you have. You might think you're breaking, but in truth you're being reshaped. You may feel as though you're falling apart, but sometimes you need to break in order to expand, to rebuild, and to rise again stronger than before. There are moments when your life feels like it's collapsing. Doors close, people walk away, opportunities disappear. You might ask yourself, why is this happening? Why now? But often the very collapse you fear is the clearing that Allah creates to build something better. When a building is old, weak, or dangerous, it must be demolished before a stronger structure can be built. In the same way, certain stages of your life must come undone so that Allah can rebuild your future on a foundation of faith, wisdom, and clarity. Sometimes hardship is a direct protection from something harmful. You may want something desperately, perhaps a job, a relationship, a place, or a dream, and when you lose it, you feel devastated. But if you could see what Allah sees, you would fall in prostration out of gratitude. Not every loss is a loss. Sometimes Allah removes something because it would destroy you, slow you down, or divert you from the path He has chosen for you. And sometimes He delays something because you are not ready yet. Your heart, your character, or your level of trust needs to grow before the gift can be safely placed in your hands. Hardship often brings hidden blessings. One of the first blessings is humility. When life becomes difficult, you remember how much you need Allah. You turn to Him more sincerely. You pray more consistently and your heart softens. You begin to rely on Him instead of relying on people. This shift in reliance is part of your destiny changing, because when you rely on Allah, you are connected to the one who controls all outcomes. The strongest hearts are not the ones that never break. They're the ones that return to Allah when they do. Another blessing is purification. Hardship washes away arrogance, impatience, and sins that you may have carried unknowingly. It comes to refine you, the way fire purifies gold. Gold does not enjoy the fire, but without it, it will never shine. Similarly, a believer may not enjoy hardship, but without it, the soul may never reach its highest state. Sometimes the pain you feel is the cleansing of your heart, preparing you for the goodness ahead. Hardship also teaches patience. And patience is one of the greatest gifts bestowed upon a believer. True patience doesn't mean you don't feel hurt or sadness. It means you continue to trust Allah through your pain. It means you keep moving even when your steps are slow. It means you do not let despair take root, because you know your Lord is watching, listening, and planning something beautiful for you. Every moment of patience is recorded. Every tear is seen. Every silent struggle is known. And perhaps the greatest blessing of hardship is perspective. When life is easy, we often forget the value of what we have. We forget gratitude. But when Allah tests you, you begin to appreciate even the smallest of favors. Hardship shifts your focus to what matters. It realigns your priorities. It reminds you that this world is temporary and that ultimate peace lies in submission to Allah. When hardship pushes you toward prayer, toward reflection, toward better choices, or toward becoming more mindful of your Creator, then that hardship is a sign, one of the clearest signs that Allah is changing your destiny. He is not pushing you down. He is pushing you upward. He is not punishing you. He is preparing you. Your tears are not signs of weakness. They are signs that Allah is polishing your heart for something greater. If you are going through hardship right now, do not think for a moment that your story is ending. Sometimes the hardest chapters lead to the most beautiful conclusions. Trust that the one who wrote your destiny knows exactly what He is doing. Your hardship may be the very moment your destiny begins to shift. Your good days are coming by the will of Allah. When a person's heart begins to detach from sin and lean toward goodness, it is one of the most beautiful and powerful signs that Allah is guiding them toward a better destiny. The shift may be subtle at first. You may not even understand it fully, but something inside you begins to change. You start feeling uncomfortable with actions you once did without thinking twice. You begin to sense a heaviness when you displease Allah and a lightness when you obey Him. This internal transformation does not happen on its own. It is placed in your heart by the Most Merciful. When Allah loves a servant, He opens their heart to purity, to sincerity, and to the desire to become better than they were yesterday. There comes a time when you look at your life and realize that certain habits, certain environments, and certain conversations no longer feel right. Maybe you used to joke carelessly, speak without thinking, or fall into sins easily. But suddenly those same things start to bother you. You feel uneasy afterward. That discomfort is not guilt from people, it is guidance from Allah. When Allah wants to elevate you, He makes you dislike what harms your soul. He turns your heart away from darkness and toward light. Sometimes this shift happens after a hardship. Pain often softens the heart. It makes you reflective, humble, and aware of your own flaws. During difficulty, you may find yourself turning to Allah more often, and as a result, you begin shedding sins naturally, not because someone forced you, but because your heart no longer accepts what keeps you distant from your Creator. The same things that entertained you before now feel empty. The same places you used to go now feel spiritually heavy. That change is a sign that Allah is cleaning your heart from the inside. Other times the change begins without any major outward event. You might be sitting alone one day and suddenly feel a desire to improve your salah, to stop a bad habit, to apologize to someone you hurt, or to seek forgiveness from Allah. That sudden urge toward goodness is a gift. It is not random. The Prophet taught us that guidance is from Allah alone. And when He wills good for someone, He opens their heart toward what pleases Him. If you feel these changes inside you, know that it is a sign of divine mercy upon you. When your heart turns away from sin, you may start feeling a sense of sadness or disappointment when you slip. This sadness is a sign of Iman. People whose hearts are sealed do not feel remorse. They sin without concern. But the believer feels pain even for small mistakes. This pain is healthy. It is a sign that Allah still wants you near. It is a sign that your spiritual heart is alive. You'll also notice that your intentions become purer. You begin doing things for the sake of Allah instead of people. You might start giving charity quietly, praying longer in private, or making dua more sincerely. Your heart begins to crave goodness, and your soul feels restless without it. This desire is a clear indicator that Allah is guiding you step by step. Even if you are not perfect and no one is, your direction is changing. And in Islam, your direction matters more than your speed. Even small steps toward Allah are steps that transform your destiny. A heart turning toward goodness often comes with a new sense of inner clarity. You start noticing the impact of your actions. You become more mindful of the words you speak, the food you consume, the company you keep, and the time you spend. You begin to realize that life is too precious to waste on things that distance you from Allah. This awakening is one of the greatest signs that Allah has chosen you for something better. Another sign is that Allah places righteous people in your life or removes certain individuals who influence you negatively. You might find yourself suddenly drawn to gatherings of knowledge, Islamic reminders, beneficial conversations, or people who uplift your faith. This is not a coincidence. When Allah loves a servant, He surrounds them with those who help them grow. He protects them from those who pull them away from truth. Sometimes people you cared about begin to drift away, and while it may hurt, it is often a form of divine protection. Allah knows which relationships purify your heart and which ones pollute it. At times, you will feel a growing desire to repent. You start feeling shy before Allah. You feel ashamed of sins you used to ignore. You feel a longing to start fresh. This is one of the clearest signs that your destiny is shifting. Repentance opens doors you cannot imagine. It brings blessings, tranquility, and divine support. When Allah inspires you to seek forgiveness, He is preparing to replace your past with something better. The journey toward goodness does not mean you will never sin again. You may fall, you may struggle, you may slip repeatedly, but what truly matters is that you no longer feel comfortable in those sins. Your heart refuses to settle in disobedience. Every time you stumble, you rise again. Every time you forget, you remember. Every time you weaken, you return to Allah. This cycle of falling and rising is itself a sign of spiritual growth. Those who are destined for goodness always return, no matter how many times they slip. If your heart is starting to change, if you feel this shift inside you, thank Allah. It means He is guiding you. It means He wants you closer. It means He is rewriting your path with mercy. And it means your future holds more light than your past. The change in your heart is not a small sign. It is one of the clearest proofs that Allah is transforming your destiny for the better. A renewed sense of hope and calmness settling into your heart is one of the most comforting signs that Allah is gently changing your path. It does not always arrive with dramatic moments or obvious miracles. Sometimes it appears quietly without any big external change. Your problems may still be there, your challenges may still look the same, and your life may not have shifted visibly. Yet inside you, something begins to soften. The pressure that once felt unbearable becomes lighter. The thoughts that used to torment you become quieter. You begin to feel a sense of reassurance that you cannot explain logically. This inner peace is not from the world around you. It is placed inside your heart by the one who controls hearts. And when Allah gives calmness, it is a sign that He is preparing something good for you. There are times in life when despair wraps itself around you so tightly that you feel suffocated. Everything feels heavy, your thoughts become negative, and your heart feels unsettled. In such moments, even small tasks seem overwhelming, but then, suddenly or gradually, you wake up one morning and notice that your heart feels lighter. The circumstances may not have improved, but you feel more capable of handling them. This renewed strength is not accidental. It is a spiritual sign that Allah has begun easing your path. Even before He changes what is around you, He changes what is within you. And that internal transformation is often the first signal that your destiny is shifting toward relief. This inner calmness is a mercy. It is a reminder that Allah has not forgotten you. It is His way of saying, I am with you. When He places tranquility in your heart, it is like a soft light guiding you through a dark tunnel. You may not be out yet, but you start seeing enough to keep going. This sense of calm is not something you can force or fake. It comes from sincere prayers, tears shed in the quiet of the night, and moments when your heart breaks, yet still finds its way back to Allah. When Allah sees you turning to Him, even silently, He sends peace as a gift and as a sign that He is rewriting your story. This tranquility often shows up after a long period of struggle. Sometimes you endure so much emotional or mental turmoil that your heart becomes exhausted. You reach a point where you surrender, not out of hopelessness, but out of trust. You realize you cannot control everything. You accept that what is written for you will reach you, and what is not written will never be yours. This moment of surrender is powerful. It allows your heart to relax for the first time in a long while, and when the heart relaxes, hope returns. This return of hope is a sign that Allah has begun lifting your burdens, even if you cannot see it yet. Inner calmness also shows itself when fear begins to fade. You may still face uncertainty, but you no longer feel paralyzed by it. You begin to say, whatever Allah wills will be better for me. This acceptance does not remove your problems, but it removes the anxiety tied to them. It helps you breathe again. It gives you space to think, reflect, and move forward. And this emotional shift often comes just before external blessings arrive. It is as if Allah prepares your heart to receive something new, something better, something you once thought was out of reach. Another sign connected to this calmness is the sudden increase in gratitude. When your heart starts noticing small blessings, the comfort of your home, the kindness of a friend, the beauty of a sunrise, or even the gift of breathing, you know something inside you is healing. People who are drowning in worry rarely feel grateful. So when gratitude begins rising in your heart, it is a sign that Allah is replacing your heaviness with contentment. Gratitude invites more blessings, and sometimes the shift in your destiny begins with a shift in your perspective. You may also notice that your thoughts become clearer. Confusion begins to fade. You stop overthinking every detail. You stop replaying painful memories. You stop imagining worst-case scenarios. Instead, you start saying, whatever happens, Allah will guide me through it. This mental clarity is a profound sign of Allah's guidance. When your mind calms down, you begin seeing opportunities instead of obstacles, lessons instead of losses, growth instead of failure. Your heart becomes less attached to the people and situations that once weighed it down. This detachment is not coldness, it is trust. Trust removes fear, and trust invites peace. The renewed hope in your heart is also a sign that your prayers are being answered. Sometimes Allah responds to your dua by changing your circumstances. Other times He responds by changing your heart first. When you feel hope rising for no obvious reason, it is often because Allah has already planned something for you. You can feel it even before you see it. Your soul senses the mercy that is on its way. This inner calmness is one of the greatest gifts Allah gives His believer, because it allows you to endure challenges with dignity, resilience, and faith. It reminds you that your story is not over and that better days are coming. When Allah places peace in your heart, it means He is preparing relief, opening new doors, or paving a path to blessings you cannot imagine yet. If you feel this shift within you, if your heart is calmer, your mind is clearer, and your hope is slowly returning, understand that this is not random. It is a sign that Allah is guiding you toward goodness. It is a sign that He has heard your prayers. It is a sign that He has already begun changing your destiny from within your heart. Receiving opportunities you didn't seek is one of the most remarkable signs that Allah is orchestrating change in your life. These opportunities often appear in ways you could never have imagined, and they arrive at times when you feel least prepared or deserving. Life has a way of reminding us that Allah is the planner, the provider, and the one who writes destinies with precision. When blessings come to you unexpectedly, whether through work, relationships, guidance, or spiritual growth, they are a sign that Allah is paving a new path for you. These opportunities are often the fruit of unseen efforts, hidden prayers, and the mercy of Allah, and they indicate that your journey is moving toward a better and brighter future. Sometimes these opportunities arrive in subtle ways. Perhaps a conversation with a friend introduces you to an idea or a person who changes your life. Perhaps a sudden shift in your circumstances opens a door you never thought would exist. You may not have sought these opportunities, and in many cases, you may not even feel ready to accept them. Yet Allah, in His wisdom, knows exactly when and how to place these blessings in your path. What appears random to your eyes is meticulously planned by the one who knows the past, present, and future. The divine timing ensures that when the moment is right, you will be prepared to step into what has been written for you. These blessings often serve multiple purposes. They may be a reward for patience, a response to a silent dua, or a preparation for the next stage of your life. The Quran reminds us that Allah provides for His servants from sources they could never imagine. When something positive comes into your life without you asking for it, it is a sign that Allah's mercy and generosity are at work. Sometimes these opportunities are far more valuable than what you initially wanted, because Allah sees beyond your desires and knows what is truly best for you. You may notice that these opportunities often challenge you at first. They might require you to step out of your comfort zone, face your fears, or develop skills you had not yet honed. This is intentional. Allah does not simply hand over blessings without preparing you for them. The difficulty in embracing the opportunity is part of the process. It tests your faith, your trust, and your willingness to surrender to His plan. When you accept these challenges with patience and sincerity, you find that Allah's guidance makes the path smoother than you could have ever imagined. Sometimes the opportunities come in the form of people entering your life. You may meet someone who offers guidance, mentorship, or companionship that positively influences your destiny. Other times you may find doors opening in your career or education, or even in personal growth in ways you never expected. These signs are reminders that Allah surrounds His servants with support and assistance in ways that they often fail to notice. When you recognize these blessings, it is important to maintain gratitude, humility, and awareness that none of these gifts would have reached you without divine intervention. Another aspect of receiving unexpected opportunities is that they often redirect you from what may have harmed you. Sometimes we desire certain paths or outcomes, but Allah, in His infinite wisdom, knows they would have been detrimental. By opening doors elsewhere, He protects you from harm, disappointment, and loss. What seems like a coincidence is actually a sign of divine protection and planning. This requires a believer to trust Allah completely, understanding that what He gives is better than what we seek, and what He withholds is also for our benefit. These opportunities also teach reliance on Allah. When blessings arrive in ways you could not have predicted, it reminds you that human effort alone is not sufficient. While effort is necessary, it is ultimately Allah who places the result in your path. This realization strengthens faith and encourages gratitude, turning every success into a moment of remembrance and acknowledgement of the one who controls all outcomes. The arrival of unexpected opportunities becomes a source of spiritual growth as much as material or social benefit. Sometimes the opportunities manifest as lessons rather than tangible rewards. You may be placed in situations that stretch your character, improve your patience, or deepen your understanding of others. These experiences are just as important as career or financial opportunities because they shape your character, strengthen your faith, and prepare you for even greater blessings. Allah uses these unseen openings to mold your destiny in ways that will benefit you in this world and the next. It is important to recognize that these opportunities often require action on your part. The blessings may be in front of you, but you must step forward, make decisions, and act with sincerity and reliance on Allah. Hesitation, doubt, or fear can delay or even forfeit the benefit. This is why faith and courage are essential. When you trust Allah and move forward with honesty, integrity, and diligence, the doors He opens will lead you exactly where He wants you to be. When these blessings arrive, they are also a test of gratitude and humility. A person who recognizes that every opportunity comes from Allah is less likely to become arrogant or complacent. They remain grounded, knowing that success is a combination of effort, divine blessing, and timing. This humility ensures that the opportunities lead to sustained growth rather than temporary gain. In conclusion, receiving opportunities you never sought is a powerful indicator that Allah is actively shaping your path. It reflects His mercy, His wisdom, and His intricate planning for your life. These unexpected blessings, whether big or small, visible or subtle, signify that your destiny is being rewritten in ways that will ultimately benefit you far beyond what you could imagine. When you experience these signs, embrace them with gratitude, patience, and trust. They are proof that Allah is guiding you, protecting you, and preparing you for the good days that are on their way. Finding the strength to leave what harms you is a profound sign that Allah is actively reshaping your destiny. Often we cling to people, habits, or situations out of familiarity, comfort, or fear of change, even when they no longer serve our growth or bring goodness into our lives. Letting go is not easy. It can feel painful, confusing, and even impossible at times. Yet, when the heart begins to feel a natural resistance to harmful influences and a desire to move toward what is wholesome and beneficial, it is a clear indication that Allah is guiding you. This strength is not born merely from willpower. It is a gift from Allah, placed gently within your heart to steer you toward better outcomes. Many people experience harm without realizing its impact. Sometimes a relationship drains your energy, a habit keeps you spiritually or emotionally weak, or an environment prevents you from flourishing. Allah, in His infinite wisdom, may create circumstances that allow you to recognize these negative forces, slowly opening your eyes to what needs to change. When this awareness comes accompanied by the ability to act, it is a divine nudge. It is as if Allah is telling you, "Step away, my servant. Your life has a better path." The strength to leave then becomes a blessing, a sign that your soul is aligning with the good that Allah has planned for you. Often this strength manifests subtly at first. You may notice small moments of clarity or discomfort in harmful situations. Perhaps a conversation that once brought joy now feels empty, or a habit that once comforted you now leaves you restless. These subtle feelings are indicators that your heart is awakening. Allah does not remove harmful influences abruptly. He allows you to recognize their effect on your life, helping you develop the courage to detach yourself. This process is gradual because it allows the change to be lasting. Immediate detachment without understanding can leave a void, but when Allah strengthens your heart, you leave with purpose and clarity. Sometimes leaving harmful circumstances involves difficult choices. You might fear judgment from others, or you might worry about losing security or comfort. This is where divine guidance and inner strength become crucial. Allah often tests the sincerity of our trust in Him at these moments. When you take steps toward leaving what harms you, even when it is challenging, you are demonstrating your reliance on Allah's plan. The very act of stepping away becomes a sign of spiritual growth and a signal that your destiny is shifting towards something better. The strength to leave also manifests through increased self-awareness. You begin to understand your own limits, recognize patterns of harm, and discern what nourishes your soul versus what depletes it. This awareness is a gift from Allah. It allows you to make decisions not out of fear, anger, or haste, but out of wisdom and faith. The ability to reflect and recognize what is detrimental is a crucial step in preparing your life for blessings that are yet to come. Without this awareness, you might continue in situations that stunt your growth. With it, you are empowered to embrace change. Another aspect of this divine strength is detachment from toxic people. Not everyone who leaves your life is a loss. Sometimes Allah removes individuals who would hold you back, drain your energy, or prevent you from reaching your potential. This can feel painful, especially if you care deeply about them, yet the pain is temporary and the protection is permanent. When your heart gains the courage to release these attachments, it is a sign that Allah is paving the way for relationships that will elevate you spiritually, emotionally, and even socially. These relationships will bring harmony, support, and blessings rather than conflict, tension, and harm. This strength is also evident when you are able to let go of bad habits. Sins, unhealthy routines, or destructive behaviors can weigh heavily on the heart. When you find the ability to abandon them despite previous struggles, it is a clear indication that Allah is changing your spiritual trajectory. You begin to experience relief, clarity, and a sense of alignment with your values and faith. This liberation is part of the unseen transformation that prepares you for new opportunities and blessings that are waiting for you. Sometimes the strength to leave comes in the form of perseverance through trials. Certain harmful situations cannot be removed immediately, But Allah grants patience and resilience to endure until the moment of release. This endurance is also a form of strength. By remaining steadfast, maintaining integrity and seeking guidance, you are equipping yourself to leave harm behind at the right time and in the best manner possible. The ability to persevere without being consumed by negativity is a sign of inner growth and spiritual maturity. When Allah gives you the strength to leave what harms you, He is not only protecting you from immediate harm, but also preparing your life for future blessings. Every step away from toxicity, every habit abandoned, and every harmful attachment released creates space for goodness to enter. Opportunities, peace, and clarity follow. You begin to notice doors opening, paths clearing, and relationships forming that are aligned with His plan. The very act of leaving is a seed planted in your destiny, which will bloom into success, happiness, and spiritual fulfillment. If you find yourself gaining the courage to step away from what no longer serves you, recognize it as a divine sign. It is not merely personal strength or coincidence. It is Allah guiding you, protecting you, and reshaping your life according to His wisdom. Embrace it with gratitude, patience, and trust. Know that every step you take away from harm is a step closer to the good days that Allah has written for you, and every release is a preparation for blessings far greater than what you could imagine. When your dua becomes consistent and sincere, it is one of the clearest signs that Allah is reshaping your destiny. Dua or supplication is more than a request. It is a dialogue between you and your Creator, a manifestation of trust, hope, and humility. When your heart naturally turns toward Allah, seeking His guidance, mercy, and help on a regular basis, it indicates a transformation that is taking place within your soul. This shift often precedes tangible changes in your life, preparing you for the blessings, opportunities, and relief that are yet to come. A sincere and consistent connection with Allah through dua is like a lifeline being strengthened, and it signals that your destiny is moving toward the good that Allah has planned for you. A sign of this change is that you begin to make dua not only in times of need, but also in times of ease. Previously, you may have only raised your hands or whispered prayers when you were desperate, when life seemed unbearable, or when you needed something immediate. But as your heart transforms, your relationship with Allah becomes more intimate and constant. You begin to express gratitude, ask for guidance, and seek closeness to Him even in ordinary moments. This consistency is a sign that your heart is becoming more aligned with Allah's will and that your spiritual connection is deepening. When dua becomes part of your daily rhythm, it is an indication that Allah is drawing you closer and preparing your path for positive change. Sincerity is equally important. Your dua is no longer a mere repetition of words or a routine performed out of habit. Instead, it is heartfelt and deliberate. You begin to speak to Allah with awareness, humility, and understanding that He alone has the power to respond. This sincerity transforms your prayers from mere requests into an act of worship, which carries immense reward and divine attention. Allah looks at the intention behind the dua. And when your heart turns sincerely toward Him, it sets the stage for your circumstances to shift in ways that you may not immediately comprehend. Every heartfelt plea, even those whispered silently or spoken alone, is recorded and acknowledged by your Creator. When your dua becomes more consistent, you also begin to notice subtle changes in your life. Doors that were previously closed may start to open. You may receive guidance that points you toward better choices. You may find inner peace and clarity in situations that once caused confusion or distress. These shifts are not coincidences. They are the results of the connection you are nurturing with Allah. Each prayer strengthens your spiritual foundation and increases the likelihood that the blessings Allah has written for you will manifest. Consistency in dua signals a readiness in your heart to receive what has been prepared for you, and it demonstrates your commitment to relying on Allah rather than solely on your own efforts. Another sign is the patience that develops alongside sincere dua. When you pray regularly, you start to understand that not every request will be answered immediately or exactly as you imagine. Instead of despairing or giving up, you learn to trust in Allah's timing and wisdom. This patience is a crucial element of spiritual maturity and indicates that your heart is being prepared for greater rewards. The repeated practice of turning to Allah, even when the response is not immediately visible, strengthens your resilience and reinforces the certainty that Allah knows what is best for you. This endurance is a sign that your destiny is in motion, being shaped by divine wisdom rather than human impatience. As your dua deepens, you may also find that it becomes more specific and meaningful. You begin asking for not only material needs or worldly desires, but also for guidance, forgiveness, and strength to improve your character. This evolution in your prayers reflects a growing awareness of the deeper aspects of life and a desire to align yourself with Allah's plan. When your heart seeks goodness, both for yourself and for others, it reflects a readiness to embrace the opportunities and blessings that are being prepared for you. Such sincere supplication becomes a transformative process, nurturing both spiritual and practical readiness for positive change. Consistency and sincerity in dua also foster gratitude. You begin recognizing the blessings already present in your life and thanking Allah for them. Gratitude strengthens faith and magnifies the effects of your prayers. When you acknowledge what Allah has already provided, your heart opens to receive more. This awareness is a subtle sign that your destiny is shifting. Allah rewards the thankful heart and often multiplies the outcomes of sincere effort and prayer, sometimes in ways that surpass human imagination. A heart that prays consistently and sincerely is a heart that is ready to receive divine favor and guidance. Furthermore, consistent dua increases your awareness of Allah's presence in your daily life. You begin noticing small blessings, guidance, and signs that you might have previously overlooked. Each answered prayer, each subtle shift, and each moment of relief serves as confirmation that Allah is actively involved in your affairs. This growing awareness strengthens your faith, reinforces your reliance on Him, and reassures you that your struggles, efforts, and prayers are not in vain. It is a sign that your spiritual journey is aligning with the path of divine guidance. Finally, sincere and consistent dua transforms the way you face challenges. When difficulties arise, you no longer feel abandoned or helpless. Instead, you turn to Allah for strength, clarity, and resolution. This reliance not only helps you navigate life with more confidence and patience, but also signals that Allah is actively working behind the scenes to change your destiny. The consistent act of supplication strengthens your resilience, prepares you for future blessings, and indicates that good days are on their way. If your heart has begun to engage in regular and sincere dua, recognize it as a divine sign. It is a signal that Allah is listening, that your connection with Him is deepening, and that your destiny is being guided toward goodness. Every heartfelt prayer, every whispered plea, and every moment of turning to Allah is a step closer to the blessings, opportunities, and positive transformations He has planned for you. Your good days are coming, and your consistent, sincere dua is one of the clearest indicators of this divine preparation. In conclusion, my brothers and sisters, life is a journey guided by Allah's infinite wisdom, and sometimes the signs of change are subtle, often hidden within our hearts, thoughts, and circumstances. The hardships you endure, the shift in your heart toward goodness, the sense of calm and hope that begins to grow, the opportunities you never sought, the strength to leave what harms you, and the sincerity and consistency of your dua. All these are powerful indicators that Allah is quietly reshaping your destiny. These signs remind us that no difficulty is permanent, no struggle is wasted, and no tear is unseen. Your good days are coming. What you have been praying for, what you have been striving toward, and what you have been patiently enduring is being answered in ways beyond your imagination. Trust in Allah's timing, remain steadfast in faith, and embrace the journey with gratitude and patience, for the one who holds your destiny will never fail you, and the best is yet to come. Thank you, everyone.